And then he looked at me straight in the eye with the voice of an old man. He said, "We were monks together in Tibet, and I am so glad to be reincarnated with you." And a voice, very clear voice in my head said, "Look in the newspaper next to you." So this is dating myself a little bit. This is 1997. We still actually had newspapers on the bus seats, right? So I pick up the newspaper, flip open immediately to there was a lecture at Harvard about a historical figure. And my mind just exploded like, oh my God, that's me. That's me. I knew it. Maybe what you really want is your last suffering lifetime. Wouldn't you love to solve everything, heal everything, so that from now on you could have as many beautiful, happy earth lifetimes as you want? Thank you. Johann.
Johann.
Yes, it's
Johann.
the middle name. It's German.
Johann, okay.
So yes. Yeah, I wanted to say that it was so special to meet you yesterday. I'm a big believer in destiny. We very quickly got into a conversation about reincarnation. And that has been very important to me in discovering my destiny, what I'm meant to do in life. I'm a big believer that we all have something we are meant to do in life. And when we find that and we commit to that, the universe will work. Things will come to us, synchronicities, destinies. It will go smoothly. And I had the most wonderful experience yesterday meeting you. It was the conclusion of a little process that I have an adopted son from Korea, and I needed to request his birth certificate again from the town we had moved from. And that was a sense of I'm validating his identity. Well, as it turns out, so when he was a baby, we were co-sleeping, he was in the bed, and I had a vivid dream of him coming to me in the dream, telling me, well, first he offered me his little boy, and he showed me a picture. He said, "Daddy, this is for you." And I looked at it, it was like a picture of a fire engine or something. I said, "That's nice," and I gave it back to him. And then he said, "No, Daddy, this is for you." More serious, all in a dream, a very clear dream. So I looked at it and I said, "Oh, that is really nice, thank you." And then he looked at me straight in the eye with the voice of an old man. He said, "We were monks together in Tibet, and I am so glad to be reincarnated with you." What an amazing validation of my being. So years later, to be validating his being, to be requesting a birth certificate, to come to your shop, and then go right into a conversation. Amazing. So yeah, many things are meant to be.
So let's go back to that incident of your dream, right? In the dream, you had your adopted son came to you and then gave you a picture, and he offered that to you, saying that this is for you, but the voice was old, and he told you that you both were monks in Tibet.
Yes.
And now are reborn, reincarnated.
Yes. And I
What did that feel like to you at that moment when you woke up the morning?
I looked at him and I was stunned, and I was like checking that he's still a little boy, right? So now at that point, I already believed in reincarnation. I had had marvelous experiences in my life. It was just very special to know that this child wanted to be with me and part of my reincarnation journey. Because a lot of people, certainly in my culture, I know from the part of the world you're from, it's more common to believe in reincarnation, but a lot of people don't want to hear about these things. But when I talk in terms of a destiny and people are meant to be together, yes, then people start to get more romantic and idealistic. But yeah, reincarnation is incredibly important to me, as well as dreams. I work a lot with dreams because that's where you can see the truth behind the reality, and you can sort of check in with the other world every night. We spend a third of our lives dreaming. We might as well be doing something, or sleeping. We might as well be doing something in that time.
Carl, why is the concept of reincarnation not so popular among people, and why is it so popular among other type of people?
Right. Well, I think it makes perfect sense, really. I mean, when I was young, I tended to be judgmental of other people because they were judgmental of me. I've always been a very kind of fantasy idealistic person growing up. I didn't believe in reincarnation until my early 30s when I started remembering my past lives. But yeah, to not be judgmental of people, to realize like it's just whatever they need to get by in life. reincarnation, memories of another lifetime can be very confusing for a lot of people. It can be important for people not to believe in reincarnation until they're ready. When I was ready, it was in my early 30s. I was already very spiritual. I was really into spiritual ideas, but I had a day job as a computer programmer. Most people didn't want to hear about my spiritual beliefs. And I reached a point in my life where I was like, just universe, tell me, am I supposed to be into all this spiritual concepts that people don't believe in? Or should I just forget it all and just focus on the day job? Just make money, just be normal, quote unquote. And I had an amazing experience of a past life coming to me. And so it was very validating for me to realize, like, I've done this kind of thing in other lifetimes. I am a spiritual teacher type of person. Everybody has what they're meant to do. This is what I'm meant to do. So reincarnation became a very important part of my journey.
You said you started remembering your past life when you were in your 30s, right? What were those memories like? How did it appear to you, and then what prompted those?
It's a marvelous story. See, I was never that into the idea of past lives. I was simply into the idea of there are many sides to my personality. And that's really where connecting with your other lifetimes start. I have many hobbies. I'm into music. I'm into rock collecting. I'm into, different cultures and interested in Germany. Where does that come from? So I just like to cultivate a rich personality. That's where it begins. When you're ready, when the universe is ready to tell you, you will find out that your personalities, your interests come from other lifetimes. And you in turn influence them, because actually it's not reincarnation in the sense of, oh, I died and now I'm here. They're actually all time is simultaneous. Your other lifetimes are actually your friends. It's concurrent, simultaneous incarnations. So I started being able to talk to my other lifetime. But yeah, I'll tell you the quick story. It was really neat.
Please.
I was working in a software company in Boston, and I was in that point of like, I had developed my music hobby and like, what do I do with all these sides of myself? Nearby to where I was working, they were doing one of those holistic health expos, a lot of tables of spiritual practitioners. So I rented a table, and I just like, I don't know, I'm just going to put essays I've written and poetry and some of my music on the table and see what happens. I had a really magical weekend. There were a lot of connections, a lot of synchronicities with people. And at the end of the weekend, I was taking the bus back through Harvard Square in the Boston area. And it just said, universe, what was that all for? What am I doing with my life? And a voice, very clear voice in my head said, look in the newspaper next to you. So this is dating myself a little bit. This is 1997. We still actually had newspapers on the bus seats, right? So I pick up the newspaper, flip open immediately to there was a lecture at Harvard about a historical figure. And my mind just exploded like, oh my God, that's me. That's me. I knew it. It's like, I was just so emotionally overcome. It's like, they remember us. They remember us. It was amazing. And it's just like for days I was weeping. I was like,
so all of a sudden, you looked into a newspaper and there was an article and that connected you to your past life.
Yes.
That is the person you are.
I knew that was also me. And that helped to explain my interest in Germany, because she was a nun in medieval Germany. And so that just changed my entire perspective on life. Suddenly, like the depth of, oh my God, the people I'm with, they could be from other lifetimes too. And I'm really meant to do this spiritual stuff. So I actually had to leave my job. I was so overwhelmed with all these feelings, but then it worked out perfectly. It turned out, so I leave my company to explore this other lifetime. In a couple of weeks, the whole company collapsed. There was a big scandal. Nobody saw it coming. All of my friends were calling me up like, Carl, how did you know to leave just in time? It's like, I didn't. I was just following me. I was like, I had these experiences. So when you follow your destiny, when you follow your passion, amazing connections will come to you, and you will be in the right place at the right time, and you will move out of harm's way. So big believer in destiny.
Was that the only encounter of yourself going into your past life, remembering it, and then being acquainted with it? Or has there been any other incidents where you would, It would strengthen your belief that you are reincarnated.
Yeah, absolutely. Many more, many more. In fact, I brought a little show and tell of a few things.
I see a lot of books.
So
what are these?
So this one, Hildegard of Bingen, that is the past life I'm talking about. She was a medieval abbess in Germany, and like I said, this was profound. This just my brain kind of exploded with like, oh my God, that's me, that's me. When you tap into knowing something about your soul, your transcendent self, it is so powerful. It is so moving. So then, as I said, I left this job that was about to collapse anyway, and I spent 9 months just exploring the different possibilities. So I started connecting more with spirits and dreams, and I started wondering, well, am I some of these spirits? And it's like, no, you can have very close connections with spirits, and you can connect with them in dreams and meditations. This is all the kind of stuff that people, they're guided by intuition in life, but they don't realize there's actually like a whole life story behind that. I'm just getting deep into it. So the other books I brought were just Walter Semke. He became a friend of mine. He did a lot of research into past lives. This is where he talks about, he remembered his lifetime as John Adams, early president of the United States. And then he found that Americans weren't that interested in it, but he published this book in India to then talk about past lives of Indian film stars and Indian politicians. So he found a big audience in India, but he was somebody I had worked with in other lifetimes too, so we became friends. So it's this whole like story behind the story. You don't have to know other lifetimes, but if you need it, it really validates and explains a lot about your life.
Is it possible that you and I may have met in past life?
Oh, certainly, certainly.
How so?
Well, there are many ways that, just like in this current life, you have friends, you have acquaintances, you have people you admire. All of that is in the background in this other lifetime. If you need to, if you want to bring that forward, you will start meeting, just by destiny, by chance, people in these significant moments of your life, and you just feel like we get along right away. Just that feeling of like, we understand each other, we're on the same page, we can do something fun together right away. Those are all good signs that, yeah, we probably did things in another lifetime too. So here we are now.
How do I figure out, how do I know? Because I'm curious. I've never had any such experiences like many other people, but I'm very much interested in knowing, going to that route and then trying to understand, even to the slightest glimpse, getting the slightest, vision of it on what I did look like in my past lives.
Sure. Okay.
Why am I not getting that?
Well, belief systems.
Okay.
Beliefs make all the difference. If you don't believe something's possible, you won't even be able to think about it. You won't allow the universe to give you hints about it. So first of all, to start having flexible beliefs, open beliefs that, hey, this could be true. This could be true. And what's more, it's a positive thing. It could help me. So I'm open to it. And then to have some of the basic understandings of how reincarnation works. Yes, your face will look similar. The facial features usually look very similar across lifetimes. Other things, gender, hair, everything, that can all change. But the face speaks of the soul. So there's an underlying personality behind ourselves. That's what you want to get in touch with. You want to get a deep sense of like, who am I? What do I really love about my life? What are my hobbies, my interests? I wonder if there's another lifetime where I develop those hobbies and interests even more. Or this person I know, I feel like I know them so deeply. Maybe I know them in that other lifetime too. And then just ask the universe. Universe, I want to know more. Tell me. Find ways to get the information to me in my dreams, perhaps. Maybe books will come across my way. Maybe I'll see this podcast, that sort of thing. When you ask, the universe will give, because you are a part of the universe, and your higher self, your greater mind, wants to help you find your destiny, find your happy way in life.
That is so incredible, but at the same time, still, being critical of the idea that we could be reborn with the skill set that we may have developed in the past that carries over to, many lifetimes, right?
Well, you tell me, what are some of the the criticisms that come to mind, because this is all about the belief systems. And it's very important to honor and respect our doubts, the things we're critical of or other people are critical of us, and then just go down the list and figure out, like, how does that make sense or not? That's how we change our mind. That's how we develop our beliefs, that we can believe more in ourselves.
The greatest obstacle that I have, because like I said again, I'm very much interested in knowing it, but the greatest obstacle is that if that was what had happened, if that is the truth, ultimate truth, we may reincarnate, then why are things not being so obvious to me? Why are things not, manifesting itself to my present knowledge and belief system? And it's not helping me out in my current situation. I'm trying to do 1,567 things now, and nothing works out.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it not working out if that was the case? Is the greatest obstacle that I have in my mind. So in good times, and we don't have time to go into, really think about those things. Mm-hmm. But in bad time, we always think, okay, if that was the case, why is it not happening? Why am I going through all of these, troubles, trauma, and things as such? That is the greatest, conflict that I have in my mind. Would you be able to help me out?
Yes, I'll say quickly the idea here. Like I'm saying, belief systems make all the difference. We need to figure out where we don't believe in something that would be good for us and how to change that belief. So if we are afraid of our lives and like, oh, I have so many things that are against me and, I have so many problems. Do you want to hear about another lifetime that has a lot of the same kind of problems too? Somebody is like, no, like screen it out. I don't want to hear about more problems. Oh, I'd love to hear about like a lifetime that's an escape, like they didn't have any of my problems. But usually lifetimes you have the same kind of issues. So the more you're willing and courageous to face your issues in this lifetime, the more you're going to be willing to hear about other lifetimes that had more of those same issues too. Because then other lifetimes are giving you additional information, additional points of view. And that's what you need, because it was very humbling to find out about my lifetimes. Here I am in this lifetime struggling to believe in myself, that my spiritual path, what I really care about, that I'm somehow meant to do that. And I find out, oh yeah, my other lifetimes, they had the same struggles. So it's both validating and also concerning when you find out other lifetimes, they're a lot like you now, just in a different situation, a different country, a different time. You still have to work through the same human issues. So people who are running away from themselves, they're going to be running away from their other lifetimes too.
I always wanted to be a singer. Now I practice singing and it doesn't come to me. But I have a deep interest in music. Mm-hmm. I don't understand music. I don't understand the rhythm. I don't understand the scales and so many things I don't understand. But still, I have an extreme desire to do music. Mm-hmm. What does that tell you if we had to go and then start thinking about what could I be, what would I have been going through in my past life?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, you want to think about the things that you're drawn to in life, such as music. Try to get a sense of what does that mean more symbolically, energetically, the pattern. So what is music? Music is a combination of science as well as art, that it's a harmonizing, it's making things work beautifully together. So it's a very spiritual quality. So if it touches your soul, think about what kinds of music, think about what countries, what, a style you might be drawn to. I found myself really drawn to early music. And you know what? This person that I'm talking about, one of her big things was music. She was known for being a self-taught musician, that she composed a lot of early medieval songs, sort of liturgical style, but beautiful melodies. It explained a lot of my interest in that area, and also another lifetime I then discovered a few hundred years later. But yeah, you want to honor the things you're drawn to in life because that speaks from your greater being. That speaks from your deeper being. And you will find maybe other lifetimes or simply in this lifetime opportunities to explore that. So, hey, maybe we knew each other in this lifetime. Maybe you were one of the singers because she had a lot of people singing her music.
That is fascinating. That is very much fascinating. I would love to be that singer back in those lifetime.
And clearly, I myself, I'm a self-taught musician. I've been self-conscious about it at times, like I don't know enough music, I'm clumsy, whatever. But I had a deep passion. I need to make music. I love to sing. So that's what led me into this. So you honor the things that mean a lot to you, even if they don't impress other people. It means a lot to you. It's part of your soul.
Carl, why do we reincarnate? Why do we go through many, many, many lifetimes based on that theory? I've read, a few books. One of the prominent figure in reincarnation, in my knowledge and understanding, very little knowledge and understanding, is Dr. Brian Weiss.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's talked about life between lives as well. He's talked about masters. He's talked about many masters. One of his books is Many Masters, Many Life, right? Why do we have to reincarnate? Why do we have to go through the struggle, the pain, all of these physical ailments in every lifetime? What is the purpose of it?
When you say, why do I have to? That goes into the topic of suffering. And people don't want to hear, like, what? I'm suffering in this lifetime. I want to get out of here. You're telling me I have to come back, that I have many lifetimes of suffering? So that, like I said, that's one of the reasons why people don't tap into their other lives, because it might magnify what they need to solve. But the point is, there are so many spiritual people, they say, I hope this is my last lifetime. I want to get hell out of here. It's like, maybe what you really want is your last suffering lifetime. Yeah. Wouldn't you love to solve everything, heal everything, so that from now on you could have as many beautiful, happy earth lifetimes as you want? That's the goal. That's why we have many lifetimes, because the universe is a wonderful place. It's the belief systems that cause us suffering. And one lifetime is just not enough to understand and appreciate and solve and heal all that we need. So yeah, we have many lives. And we're meant to connect them as much as we need to heal and solve our problems so that we can start really having wonderful lifetimes. When you have wonderful lifetimes, hey, I want to reincarnate. This would be great, right? So yeah, the Buddha talked a lot about ending suffering. When you end suffering, the universe becomes a wonderful place, and the idea of many lifetimes makes perfect sense. Of course, I would want many lives here.
What really prompted you to start understanding Buddhism, and what did you learn, and how it enhanced your life, or if it solved any of your problems?
Sure.
Tell us more about it.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I respect the Dalai Lama very much. And one of the things he tells people is, come to peace with, understand your own religion, your own culture first. And then you can discover Buddhism or other religions. So yeah, I was raised Christian in Christianity, and there's lots to love about Jesus's teachings. There's lots to not like about, dogmatic Christianity. But I came to a peace with my own relationship with Jesus and those teachings. And I wanted to be open-minded and connect to other religions. And there are a lot of ideas, stories of maybe in the missing years of Jesus's life, he went to the East. Maybe he learned Buddhism. Maybe some of the influences in Buddhism in the East are from Jesus. So there are a lot of tales of that. Hard to say how much are each one true, but the idea of I was drawn to another religion that showed this blissful, content, happy Buddha. Who would not love to have an inner peace like that? But it's important to always notice, what are the things you like about something and what do you not like about it? So, but yeah, when I started discovering more about reincarnation, and another figure I could mention is Emanuel Swedenborg. He's an 18th century Swedish mystic who talked about that he was being taught by spirits up from Tibet. And he had a lot of respect for Buddhism. And people who study Swedenborg's teachings tend to study Buddhism also. So I studied Buddhism more, and I came to my own peace with understanding. I think bottom line is, I think it's a matter of translation. Some of the early things I heard that Buddhism is, you shouldn't desire things. It's more about craving. It's more about an insatiable need to have something. That's the cause of suffering. Being happy, enjoying life, that's not the cause of suffering. Buddha was all for that. But yeah, I try to understand different religions in a context that makes sense to me.
What I enjoy the most is I like to work. But the type of work that I'm very much interested in working is the type of work that I do on everyday basis, like, doing a video, doing an editing, doing morning practice of music. Even though my voice does not sound like a professional singer, but I'm continuously and constantly for the last 20 years, I've been practicing music. I don't produce any good music, but I am so much, I cannot live it. Every morning when I wake up, the first thing that I do is once I'm done with the regular thing, I go and then, start with the instrument and then do my practice of my enhancing vocal. And I cannot get away with it. Any instances where I'm not, time does not allow me to do that, that is the bad day of my life. But that does not give me anything fruitfully. That does not give me anything productive. That does not give me the knowledge, it does not quench my thirst of what I am looking for. Am I doing it incorrectly? Am I on the wrong path?
Well, I would say this is where you want to work with your belief systems, because if you listen to some of the things you said, you're talking about how music really satisfies your soul. It's so deep, it's so resonant, it's an important part of your life. And then you say, oh, but it doesn't get me anything. Like what? Money? Is it, are these, this is about society saying, like, if it makes money, it's good. If it doesn't make money, it's bad. You're wasting your time. Don't do it. These are the kind of beliefs we have to investigate and realize, like, come on, there's so much more to life. I don't put a cash value on everything. I don't expect everyone to be impressed by the things that mean the most to me. So you develop your own personal lifestyle. And yeah, some things are private. This means so much to me privately, and that's my wealth privately, but it's not a cash value in the world, but who cares? It's part of me being connected to my soul, connected to my creativity. It leads me into the things that may make the money, that may connect to a public life. So it's all part of me. I don't want some beliefs to cut off parts of me. I don't want, some values, some shallow values of a shallow society to amputate important parts of my life.
Is it bad to desire for money?
No. Why? You know what? They talk a lot about money is the root of all evil, and I know so many people, and then they turn around and they need money. It's like everything is just a tool. It depends how we use it. No, money is just a beautiful tool. If you want to use the money to help people, to help yourself, to make the world a better place, then money's a good thing. It's the person who makes it a good or bad thing. So we all need to stop judging things in such simple good, bad ways and think more about what kind of behavior, what kind of use of this thing makes it good or bad. And then I can choose more of what I do to make a thing good or bad.
Let's talk about meditation.
Sure.
Do you meditate?
My own way.
Okay. All right. I'm not going to ask you how do you do that.
It's a lead-in. Yeah.
Okay.
No, because there's that classic image. Again, all these simplistic beliefs that would cut off the way we do things. I do not sit on a pillow, quiet, achieving nirvana or whatever. No, the way I meditate is I do journaling. I talk to myself. I have an audio recorder, and I start out with my emotions. I'm upset about something, and I start talking and thinking about things, and then memories will come in and visualizations. And then, because I work with my spirit guides and I'm aware of that stuff comes in. Other people might just be intuitive senses, but that's my style of meditation. It's a very active meditation of talking with myself. And then I start getting what some people call downloads, sudden, like, aha, oh my gosh, this makes such sense. Oh my gosh, I see my life in a new way. And then I start reaching levels of bliss of like, oh my God, I feel so good about my life, so hopeful, so excited. These are all the benefits of meditation, but I did it my way. It wasn't a silent meditation. I was busy like talking, and sometimes I get mad in my meditations, and sometimes I'm laughing, and I'm very active. I want to be enjoying my life. So find the kind of meditation that works for you. It just means going inward, connecting more with your spirit and your soul.
That is so fantastic, Carl. Thank you so much for your time, your enlightenment, so to say, to me today. I'd like to know more about what you do and in this lifetime right now.
Sure.
I know you said that you do coaching, life coaching, and spiritual coaching. How do you do that? Who do you do this for? And how can people get connected to you?
Yeah, thank you for asking. So since COVID 2020, I was guided by my spirit friends and my soul to go full time. Carl, you've been wanting to have a spiritual career your whole life. Time to do it. So at this point now, I have a lot of meetups. Meetup is a platform where you have online meetings. So I have sort of my equivalent of church every Sunday. I lead dream groups on Mondays and mystical spiritual sharing groups on Tuesdays. I have a spiritual psychology system I call Inner Selves Mastery. Mm-hmm. And I have a Facebook page, and I'm working on a website, innerselvesmastery.com. It may still go to this Facebook page, but that's the idea. Inner Selves Mastery. That's sort of my brand. And and I do coaching. I help people. I have several systems, ways of thinking about life, sort of organizing one's priorities, organizing one's memories, the phases of life, organizing relationships, and seeing the patterns. It's all about seeing the patterns of your own soul, so that you can really choose yourself and believe yourself, and not fall back on the negative beliefs that would simply say like, oh, you don't sing good enough, it doesn't make money, you shouldn't be doing that. It's like, no, that's part of my soul. So yes, Inner Selves Mastery, Carl Johann Schroeder, that's my thing.
Carl Johann Schroeder. Okay, would you allow me to put this little business card? I shouldn't say business card. It's your information here on the video while we're doing this podcast. It has your email on it, and then your YouTube channel and your website information as well.
Perfect.
Would you allow me to paste it there?
Absolutely. And there's another domain I have called Sign Up ISM. So ISM is standing for Inner Selves Mastery. SignUpISM.com. Quick links with a newsletter sign up. So, yep, please do use that. Thank you.
That is so great. Thank you very much, Carl. Once again, I really appreciate you coming over and then being so very ready on my request to do a podcast. It has been a great asset of this lifetime. I don't know if we meet next or no. I would love to have another round of conversation after some time. Let me digest. Let me take the things that we've talked about today, not for the podcast, but also for myself.
Absolutely.
And listen to those words by words. And that's what I do. Yeah. And if time permits, if the life decides, if the destiny, makes its way, then we will see again, and we'll do same type of conversations.
And I love the fact that yesterday when we met for the first time, you said, you have a podcast, we could do it tomorrow. And my first reaction was, that's so soon. And then I realized yes, I need to say yes to opportunities. So yeah, I was ready. You were ready. This was fun.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Namaste.